We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order.
This crusade, this war on terrorism is going to take a while.
We came, we saw, he died.
We tortured some folks.
The love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 2 of Dave VS Goliath. I'm Dave. Thank you for being here to help me take on the world. It's a new day in America. The time for oneness and unity and healing is here. Ladies and gentlemen, the soul of the nation has been restored.
Donald J. Trump called for the insurrection against the United States of America.
You talked about Al-Qaeda. What has he done in terms of incitement, right, that Osama bin Laden didn't do?
Each of these people should be shamed, and they're going to go back, to the Olive Garden and to the Holiday Inn that they're staying at.
The way that we in the media speak about this is so important.
Today was terrorism.
We call them terrorists.
Terrorists. Domestic terrorists.
Domestic terrorists.
Domestic terrorists.
These people are not Americans.
Kevin McCarthy was on Fox calling this un-American. Marco Rubio.
I don't know. There's a lot of empty rhetoric. There's a lot of empty concern.
Hawley, I should say, of all people, had the nerve to condemn the violence that we saw today.
Josh Hawley should resign in ignominy. Ted Cruz as well. But honestly, Mitch McConnell, too.
Shame on them. Shame on those senators. They sided with domestic terrorists yesterday, and we won't forget it.
This in no way absolves them of the sin and the sins that they and the president had committed against this country.
And if Donald Trump Jr., Rudy Giuliani, and Donald Trump are not arrested today for insurrection and taken to jail and booked.
It was encouraged by our Republican colleagues, and that is why every single one of them, especially because they have been the ones trying to steal this election, that's why we are calling for them to be removed.
But then Trump supporters come in and you open the fucking doors for them.
What? Joe Scarborough is out of his fucking mind. And I'm sure that his wife is a very happy woman. But I think that somebody needs to check on him. Because, damn. Wow. If we could just avoid calling our fellow countrymen the T word, I would love that. Anything else, any other word you want. It's just that I'm in favor of, rights, trials, juries. If you're the T word, you don't get that. And I don't think that they care, but maybe they'll care again someday when there's another Republican president. I'm just glad that libertarians were too smart for that bullshit. And we don't have to worry about getting caught up in a deep state dragnet like that.
This is the most relaxed I've been in the course of many inaugurations I've watched because I'm not responsible for it. But I can tell you that when I was in the government, I had white knuckles because of the nature of the threats. But it's so much more difficult today because of what we have seen, not just over the last 2 weeks, but that certainly has riveted our attention. But because of this growth in polarization in the United States and domestic violence in white supremacist groups. So I know looking forward that the members of the Biden team who have been nominated or have been appointed are now moving in laser-like fashion to try to uncover as much as they can about what looks very similar to insurgency movements that we've seen overseas, where they germinate in different parts of the country and they gain strength, and it brings together an unholy alliance frequently of religious extremists, authoritarians, fascists, bigots, racists, nativists, even libertarians.
Oh, shit. All right, this is too crazy. I got to bring in some help. Help me make sense of it all. Where's my main man, Dan, at?
What's happening, my friend?
Dude, it's crazy times out there. Joe Scarborough is very mad. People have not healed to the level that I thought they would have.
It's only been 8 days.
You're right. Give it time. Yeah, man. When I turn on the television, which is not often, but when I turn it on or I get an interesting clip like that, it does instill me with something else. Because, yeah, I try not to watch that stuff. And then just when I think I have my finger on the pulse, I'm like, oh, we're all terrorists.
They don't remain complacent, man. That's the thing that I've found, too. As soon as you think you have the finger on the pulse, too, you turn that TV on, and they're already 1 or 2 steps ahead. It's next level every day, you know? And that's what's crazy to me. You can't... They're never... They never stand still, you know?
Great. Dude, and you know me, I am a proud conspiracy theorist. I'll own it to you and to everybody out there. I'm happy to wear that tinfoil badge of honor. All the stuff you've heard in recent years about gun control is like, oh, like, okay, I'm starting to see the big picture. When you start to put together, you know, the long-term goals of the 2030 plan, the Davos guys, the World Economic Forum, it's like, oh, okay, I see it all coming into play. So when I think of, you know, the CIA or John Brennan and its tools at MSNBC via Rachel Maddow or Chuck Todd, these people, whether even, I'm not even saying they know it, they probably do, but these people are pure propagandists. They're not news people. And they're there to serve a very specific agenda, man. And yeah, John Brennan, when I watch that, it's just, you know, further hammering that home.
I think they do know it, you know, because that's where they're getting their information from,
right?
You know, man, you know, I'd love to think that there was a certain amount of them that have the best intentions, but even in those cases, where are they getting fed the information from? You know, a lot of foreign wars on the other side of the planet that a lot of journalists just can't up and go to. So the CIA puts journalists there, their journalists there, and then the news gets fed back to them, and then there it is.
Right. That was their MO, like their playbook for a really long time. Like, be overseas, where that's their jurisdiction, the CIA too. Plant a story, and then you could report it here, which would then maybe get you some funding or get you what you needed. But it looks like, it's like that mirror has been turned back on the people. So, and again, there's no coincidence that they're using terms like white supremacist, because they know these people aren't, there's not 80 million or 70 million white supremacists in America. Like, that's silly. That's really silly. But a lot of people believe that.
Whether or not anybody believes that or not, you already had somebody like Don Lemon on CNN implicating you. If you voted for Donald Trump, you are responsible for this. See what you did? So they're laying that blanket, that claim on everybody already. But man, looking into that stuff it's worse than even the news. That for decades they've what can I say? You know, had the public kind of build this trust in what the CIA was just through movies and everything since the end of the Cold War, because they had nothing else to do. Hook up with Hollywood, and yeah, we'll give you some little bit of information. This is how we act. This is what we do. Let me see that script real quick though. And if the only thing, just to riff on that, the only thing that most people ever learn about it comes from them. You know, you don't learn about them any other way. You learn about them through movies and TV shows.
Right.
They're there supporting that, you know, have an influence over that. So that's all you get, you know?
Always the hero.
Always. And making sure that you leave certain things out here and there as well, you know? Like I heard, did you hear on the Hulk and Iron Man? I mean, they directly were responsible for deleted scenes in both of those movies. Something about in the Hulk, they were talking about an American operation to, you know, poison farm fields in Vietnam, and they were like, okay, everything but that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Something about an Iron Man 2, something about the Vietnam War, about soldiers committing suicide and the catastrophe afterwards, and you got to leave that out too. I heard one time that part of what the deal is, you know, that I mean, they need the Department of Defense's help to make some of these movies. Movie directors don't own submarines and tanks and helicopters and things like that too. So if you want these toys and you want the people that know how to operate them for that movie, cool. Let's see the script. Anything, man. All those shows. Homeland, right?
Oh, man. 24? Right. Pure propaganda. And
Zero Dark 30?
Oh, man. And that one, those guys got busted, like, straight up. The CIA is like, here's the script. Here's the script. Fucking do it.
So what do we do when now it's turned inward?
Right. Because that's where we're at now, dude. And I hate to sound like a broken record. And I know we're only on episode 2, but Davey's been saying this for a long time. Now they're going to just say homegrown terrorism, which is just another way to say everybody here.
Wait till it's normalized. Like, keep an eye on what comes out on Netflix now, you know?
Right.
So what's it going to be then? Is yeah, I guess the bad guys are going to be insurrectionists now, or any kind of white supremacist, or...
And that can go so far, man, because anybody who has... It's just about perception. Like, anybody who has a Don't Tread on Me flag, or even an American flag, or a Thin Blue Line flag, is, like, in this group.
Yeah. Yeah, while they're throwing that blanket out over everybody that have nothing to do with each other. But they've been doing that game for so long. It's that doublespeak thing. Nuance is not allowed.
No, yeah, it's not about reason and logic. That's not fun or sexy or quick.
It's like when who was George Stephanopoulos was telling Rand Paul the other day that there's not two sides to every coin, but there is two sides to every coin, though. No, there's not.
Not this time. The election results have been certified. It's like, yeah, I know, but come on, man. You could rattle them off, dude. George Stephanopoulos, Chuck Todd, Rachel Maddow, Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo. These people are paid actors to deliver propaganda, man, in my view.
The worst part about it, though, is I think, you know, most people that I talk to, like your average person walking down the street, still has that mentality where it's like, yeah, well, you know, at least we don't have a state-run or state-owned media. That's really what they think. And it's worse than that. Because at least if you were in North Korea or Russia, like, at least they know. At least they can take it with a grain of salt because they understand what's going on. It's apparent. But here, to start every single show with the proclamation that you specifically are not, you know, and then go ahead and do it anyway.
That's what they do. They tell the lie and they tell it big. The media, most effective devil in America. Hashtag Maj Touré.
Do we have anything to look forward to? I'm just so used to the, you know, they portray the perceived battle of good and evil that's been going on for the last year. And if that's over, I almost think that it's going to be more work for them to have to come up with a narrative. Because before it was just, you know, we got to beat this bad guy. We got to fight against this bad guy. So unless the new bad guy is us, as you're saying too, there's got to be a direction to point the gun in.
Well, dude, they have all the tools. So the COVID contact tracing apps can be used to find white supremacists if so need be. You know what I mean? They can do that. They can just switch it up. Switch it up. I saw, dude, Gavin Newsom said COVID rates are down 37% in the last week.
The goal to do it like the day after the inauguration. Hey, we can't keep playing this lockdown game, can we?
It's hurting businesses.
Like, dude, that's the most amazing part, man. It's like what we're talking about. They don't even try to be creative about how they're going to do it. No. You know?
I think they know they don't have to. They know at this point, if they can get that CNN, The View watching audience that will just go, well, it was bad. They said it was bad, and then they said it was good, so it's good. And they'll go, finally, like, I appreciate, they'll be appreciative. And now we have this whole lockstep program, like set up so that the next time that there's a new, very dangerous strain, they can go, everybody shelter in place. And we all will instantly. Like we learned the drill.
Stay home. We'll think about those checks again.
Man, teachers have, no offense if you're a teacher or if you know one, but they've been pretty cowardly. And they should be better. They should think about the kids more than their own safety in a deadly pandemic. Come on, let's be real.
Yeah, they're screaming about how they're putting their lives in danger every time they go into school. Like, it's been pretty well established that that's like the safest spot.
Yeah. And somebody will do it. Somebody will take that job. Let's just be real with that, man. Get kids back in school. That's not fair. I'm waiting for something. But I don't think that the next thing will be awesome. I think it feels awesome right now because they want to give us this, it's like a tension release kind of thing, right? So we're going through that like release right now. The soul of the nation is being restored. The feeling they want you to feel is gratitude.
That was supposed to happen on day one. Let's restore the soul of this nation.
I still can't believe it. I can't believe he's president. And I still think that Donald Trump is probably just chilling, happy as a pig in shit, that he doesn't have to go on Twitter, doesn't have to deal with people. I think he's probably just happier that he's like retired from his like persona. If I had to guess. You know what I mean?
I wonder, because I don't really do the social media thing too. Does the Biden team utilize Twitter like that, or are they finally glad that that's over and now they can just use this machine the way that they like to use it?
I'd put it all on the line to say he'll never have an original tweet in his life, ever. If he ever did, I doubt it. I mean, that guy is to be handled. He's not. He has handlers from his wife to everybody around him, making sure that he does the thing. Joe Biden is a Kamala Harris delivery device.
How many executive orders he signed, on the first day? That was a lot of promises he had to keep. That's what that means. As soon as you get in there, asshole, sign that.
Yep. Oh, and I only, I caught wind of a couple of them, and again, this is weird that the federal government's even involved in this, but something that any institution that takes federal dollars that has anything to do with men and women's sports will have to take biological men into women's sports if they want those federal dollars. If you want those dollars to keep coming in, then you got to let Jeff wrestle Sarah. That's a huge bitch. But again, that's not at the top of my priority list. I feel like it's weird that it's at the top of Joe Biden's priority list, so it might be worth commenting on.
I think it's not on the top of our priority list, man, but I don't think it's to be underestimated, because if you want to talk about the influence and using sports, they know every direction, like get everything on the tip, that's huge. They want to hear about it. They want to talk about it. They want to feel that way about it. But I don't know. It's just virtue signaling is like the number one kind of way to, I suppose, I don't know. It catches on like fire, like that's it. Just let everybody know that you're on the right team. Let everybody else know that this team is working with this team, and it all comes down to just use the right words. Let's use the same words to just let everybody know, And if these people won't use their words, then you know who the bad guy is. It's just a way to build this weird coalition,
Of everybody versus the white supremacists. That's it. Are you against? It's a simple question. Just tell me you're against white supremacy.
Listen, if you don't wear a mask, then you're a white supremacist. If you think it's wrong for Steve to wrestle Sarah, then you're obviously a white supremacist. You know what I mean? It's what you wear. It's what you say.
That's where we're at, man. And that's why I'm just so glad to have you, dude. Are you a member of the Libertarian Party yet?
No, not yet.
You know what? They got to earn your love first. I'll tell you what. Took them a while to earn mine, and it's been our relationship's rocky at best.
I don't know. What do you think?
The freedom philosophy should infiltrate Democrats, Republicans, and Libertarians. So like in Delaware, I'm a registered Democrat and a card-carrying member of the Libertarian Party. So that works best for me here because this is a heavy blue state. The Republicans are inept and pretty much shill bidders, so they never win anything and are kind of just there to be set up, knocked down. The LP needs help here. But, for instance, in this past election, Tulsi Gabbard was the best choice on the Democratic side. So the only way to participate in the primary is if you're in the party. So in Delaware, if you want to shape the party and shape the direction that it goes, it makes sense for me to be a registered Democrat here. If I lived in a red state, I'd probably be registered as a Republican so that I could kind of try and steer who they, put up for us every couple of years. But that doesn't affect, who I vote for president. I voted Libertarian for the past 3 cycles. Didn't vote for Donald Trump either time that I had the opportunity to. So, but yeah, I didn't feel really great about voting for Gary Johnson twice or Joe Jorgensen once.
That's what got me interested in this entire thing too. It was like, so kind of disgusted in 2016 between the choice between either Trump or Hillary, that literally was in there, didn't know what I was gonna do. Third down, Gary Johnson, Libertarian, voted for him knowing that he has to be better than these two. And then afterwards started paying attention to a lot of the things you were saying, because like, who is this guy that I voted for? It started as a middle finger vote and then being like, oh, okay.
And man, the rabbit hole keeps going. When Gary Johnson came out, and you're right, that those 2 other options were so awful, and he was like, yeah, I'm the socially liberal, fiscally conservative, sensible option. And I smoke weed and I climbed Mount Everest. I was like, no brainer. You know what I mean? That's pretty much all I needed. And I didn't know who Bill Weld was, but, that was their pitch. Here's 2 Republican governors from liberal states that balanced the budget. It's like, it was this, and I was just like, okay, that sounds like enough. But you do a little bit of research on Bill Weld, and you find out he's a Raytheon lobbyist. I mean, honestly, at this point, when I look at a guy like Bill Weld, I'm like, you're pretty much Joe Biden. Like, that's, at the end of the day, I'm sure, like, they might disagree on, like, some tax rates and, like, maybe how much they should spend on welfare and warfare. But, like, at the end of the day, like, I think that they're pretty much the same thing. So that is something we did in 2020, man, is keep that element out of the party.
Dude, I can't wait to see what happens with that, because it's, the Republican Party's in trouble. I just mean that I don't think that they know. I don't think they have a plan yet. Like, what do you do when most of your voters voted for you, but not really for you, for the guy that's not there anymore?
Right.
Like, I feel like they have to fill that empty hole with something. So if he decides to go and create this party, now what for them? That's what I think they would be concerned about.
Did you see that he created the office of the ex-president? I was like, this guy, fucking amazing. It's like done on like the official letterhead.
Oh shit! So he's gonna, yeah.
I would troll the shit out of him every day. And dude, I know that this isn't like an exact metric. You can take this information for whatever it's worth. Donald Trump has like 39 million followers on Facebook. Joe Biden has 8. I mean, he got 80 million votes. I don't know. I'm not questioning the election because the votes have been certified.
Right.
So prepare yourself. Because that's, it's up to you, man. Superman ain't coming. Hashtag Aaron Brockovich. Anyway. Dude, I appreciate you. It was great to see you and talk with you. Did you have a good time?
Yeah. Let's do it soon.
Everybody, that was episode 2 of Dave vs. Goliath. I want to thank my main man, Dan. Thank you for being here, dude. And we will do this very soon.